They say Coyote Hollow doesn't belong to man anymore. The locals stopped hunting there decades ago, said the animals learned how to walk upright, and the trees learned how to listen. 4 campers thought that was just folklore, until the forest answered back.
The forest has 2 faces. I used to think the woods were quiet. That was before Coyote Hollow. We came out here to disconnect. Me, Marcus, Lena, and Tori. 4 friends, 2 tents, a borrowed SUV, and a long weekend without service. Marcus said it was the kind of place people go to reset. The locals said people go there to disappear. We should have listened. The first day was fine. Dry pine needles underfoot, sunlight cutting through the trees like warm gold. We joked, we drank, and Marcus tried to get a fire going, while I filmed everything for the vlog I'd never upload. The air had a smell I couldn't describe. Thick, heavy, like wet fur and ash. By sundown, the forest had gone silent. Not quiet campsite. Silent. Wrong silent. No crickets, no wind, not even the buzz of mosquitoes. Just us, breathing, and the distant pop of cooling wood. Tori noticed the branches first. Dozens of them hanging above camp, tied together with strips of bark, forming rough, triangular shapes. "Someone was here before us," she said. Marcus laughed it off. Probably kids or hunters marking a trail. But that night, Lena swore she heard someone whisper her name from outside the tent. Then something heavy brushed along the fabric. Slow, deliberate. I unzipped the flap and shined my flashlight. Nothing. Until I saw the footprints. Bare, human-shaped, but long. Toes ending in hooked claws. Too wide, too deep. The print circled our camp like someone pacing. When the fire flickered out around 2 a.m., I swear I heard someone laughing in the dark. A man's voice, then a woman's, then both. We didn't sleep. Morning didn't bring relief. The air stank, like a wet animal had slept in the ashes. Marcus insisted we pack up and head back to the car. We hadn't even made it a mile when the forest started to echo. At first I thought it was the wind, but then I heard it. Marcus's own voice calling from somewhere behind us. "Hey, wait up!" He turned, confused. "You guys hear that?" We did. His voice again. Farther off this time, then closer. We ran. Branches slapped our faces, the forest twisting into shapes that didn't make sense. We burst into a clearing filled with bones. Deer, maybe elk, hung upside down from the trees, rib cages picked clean. Their eyes were gone. Their mouths looked stitched shut. That's when something moved in the corner of my eye. It was on all fours, crawling fast, body jerking like it was fighting its own bones. It looked like a man wearing a coyote's head, but the head wasn't a mask. The skin stretched wrong, too tight. The eyes were human, but black and hollow. Marcus fired his pistol. The sound echoed like thunder, but the thing was already gone. We kept moving, and that's when Lena screamed. Marcus was gone. We followed the blood trail until it ended at a hollow log. His phone was inside, cracked and slick with blood. And there, pressed into the bark, was Marcus's face. Torn clean off, his teeth still inside his lips. I couldn't even breathe. Tori sobbed. Lena threw up. Then we heard it. Marcus's voice again. Weak. "Help me!" He stood at the edge of the trees, but his skin was wrong, loose, hanging like wet clothes. His mouth opened too wide. The sound came from inside him, like something else was speaking through his lungs. It smiled. We ran. The forest chased us, the trees leaning closer, the sky bruising with clouds. The creature followed on all fours, laughing, shrieking, copying us. Lena tripped, her ankle snapping with a sound like dry wood. I dragged her up. Tori screamed that it was right behind us, and then the ground disappeared. We slid down a ravine, hitting rocks and mud until we landed hard at the bottom. It was still dark, but quieter. The laughter stopped. That's when I heard something else, a sound deeper, heavier, something breathing. I thought it was thunder at first, but the rhythm was wrong. It was footsteps. Slow, deliberate, massive. Across the dried riverbed, something stepped into view. 8 feet tall, maybe more, covered in fur so dark it ate the light. Its jaw was long, like a baboon's, filled with tusk-like teeth. Its arms hung past its knees, fingers ending in nails the length of knives. The skinwalker hissed somewhere behind us. I turned, flashlight trembling, and saw it crouched in the shadows, limping, snarling, its human-like face torn and bloody. It was afraid. The two creatures stared at each other. Then the forest exploded. The Gugwi charged, slamming into the skinwalker with a sound like a car crash. Trees shook, bark rained down. The skinwalker screamed in a dozen voices at once. Human, coyote, and something else. Lena screamed as the ground trembled. I dragged her toward a fallen log, trying to hide. The fight was pure chaos. The Gugwi tore into the skinwalker, ripping chunks of flesh away and throwing them like rags. The skinwalker leapt onto its back, biting deep into its shoulder, black blood spraying across the trees. The smell was unbearable. Burned meat and rot. The Gugwi howled, grabbed the skinwalker by the spine, and ripped its arm clean off. It beat it against a tree, bones snapping. The skinwalker shrieked and mimicked the sound back, a perfect echo of the Gugwi's own roar. Then the Gugwi slammed it into the dirt so hard the ground cracked. I could feel every impact in my ribs. Tori bolted. She screamed once, then nothing. A crunch followed. I didn't look. Lena was bleeding bad. She whispered, "Go." Her hand shook, fingers already cold. I didn't want to leave her. But when I looked back, the Gugwi had noticed us. Its eyes glowed gold in the dark. It sniffed the air. I ran. The forest turned into a blur of roots and shadows. My flashlight flickered. Behind me, I heard both creatures, snarling, crashing, chasing. I found a shack. Old ranger cabin, half collapsed. I slammed the door shut and fell to the floor, gasping. For a moment, silence. Then, scratching. Something was crawling outside. I peeked through the boards. The skinwalker, barely alive. Its jaw hung sideways, bone exposed, dragging itself toward the cabin. It looked straight at me and smiled with no lips left. Then the Gugwi appeared behind it. It grabbed the skinwalker by the head and crushed it like fruit. Blood sprayed across the wall, streaking the window red. The Gugwi stood there breathing, chest heaving, staring into the cabin. I didn't move. Its eyes met mine. Then it grunted, low, guttural, and limped away into the trees. I don't remember how long I sat there. The sun eventually burned through the trees, turning the mist gold. My body felt heavy, every nerve buzzing. I staggered out, covered in blood and mud. My legs barely worked. The forest looked different now, flat, colorless, like it had emptied itself out. When I reached the dirt road, a truck came rumbling around the bend. The driver hit the brakes and jumped out. "Jesus Christ," he whispered. "You came from Coyote Hollow?" I just nodded, couldn't speak. He helped me into the cab. As we drove off, I stared out the window, watching the tree line shrink. And that's when I saw it. Something huge moving just beyond the trees, dragging something smaller behind it. The Gugwi, limping, its fur matted with blood. In its hand hung what was left of the skinwalker. The driver kept his eyes on the road. "You're lucky to be alive, son." I didn't feel lucky. The wind blew through the broken window, carrying a sound I'll never forget. Low growling and the faint echo of laughter. The forest wasn't quiet anymore. It was feeding.
And that's tonight's encounter. If you made it this far, you're officially part of the hunt. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss the next story. Until then, keep your eyes open and your flashlight charged.